House Speaker Mike Johnson, whose name I still can never remember, said exactly 4 years ago that single-party impeachments are no good.
The founders of this country warned against single-party impeachments, and they had a very specific reason for warning us against that. They said that it would be bitterly divisive, perhaps irreparably divisive for the country, and that's what's happened now. This is the first time in the history of this nation in 243 years that a president has been treated in this manner, when one party has followed and pursued a predetermined political outcome to get to that end.
Today, he seems to feel differently. And you know what? It's normal for people's opinions to change over time. It's just a little interesting when that change of mind happens to occur when you're suddenly on the other side of things.
The impeachment inquiry is necessary now, as Whip Emmer just explained, because we've come to this impasse where following the facts where they lead is hitting a stone wall, because the White House is impeding that investigation now. They're not allowing witnesses to come forward and thousands of pages of documents. So we have no choice. To fulfill our constitutional responsibility, we have to take the next step. We're not making a political decision. It's not. It's a legal decision.
Does Mike Johnson have no sense of empathy? Or maybe he has no foresight? Neither of those are good things for leaders to be lacking. But maybe he's just a hypocrite politician who will say whatever he needs to, whenever he needs to, regardless of whatever it is that he has said or done in the past. With Republicans actively trying to impeach President Biden for, I'm still not sure what, Johnson suddenly seems to have no problem with single-party impeachments. However, 4 years ago, when the Democrats were impeaching Trump for actual reasons, he said, quote, "The founding fathers, the founders of this country, warned against single-party impeachments. And they had a very specific reason for warning us against that." That's a very principled stance he and the founding fathers were taking, but the thing with principles is that they're supposed to be constant through various scenarios, even or especially through uncomfortable ones. And I think even during the Trump impeachments, the single party aspect of it was uncomfortable for a lot of us, including those of us on the side of the party doing the impeaching. I don't think it was difficult to predict back then that the Republicans would do exactly what they're doing now in retaliation eventually.
Representatives, what are you hoping to gain from an impeachment inquiry?
All I can see is Donald J. Trump 2024, baby.
Thank you, Congressman. There you have it.
But these are strange times. This country has never seen such a split and rigid partisan Congress. The issues hardly matter anymore because each party votes as a bloc. Individual members hardly have any free thought or free will to vote as they please because God forbid they upset their party leaders or they alienate their voting base, a voting base which has become similarly partisan. At this point, having 435 members of the House just feels unnecessary. Once the majority is determined, just give that side 2 votes and give the other side 1 vote, you'd get the same results. It's a joke. Instead, we have to listen to all of them jabber on about whatever it is they talk about, whatever points they try to make, whatever it is that they try to convince people of, and at the end of the day, we already know what the outcome of different initiatives will be. There are rarely any surprises, there is rarely any merit, and there's rarely any points. Congress has become so caught up in these petty games that they insist on playing that they don't do the things that they were actually voted in to do. And the solution, presumably, is to vote in better people. And absolutely, we should be trying to do that. But this is bigger than individuals or even groups of individuals. This is a problem with our culture. This feels like a real-life version of the Twitter algorithm where all the nuance and individual thought is deprioritized, inevitably widening the gap between two sides until there is no middle ground, just two very opposing factions. You pick a side because you sort of have to, and what we're left with is an ineffectual congressional House that spins its wheels in a weak effort to justify its members' 6-figure salaries. And we all are supposed to pay attention to all of it. We're supposed to respect and revere these so-called leaders who have no principles or moral baselines, leaders who are unreliable, self-serving, and shamelessly changeable. Anyway, I'm not surprised that the Republicans are trying to impeach Biden right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene literally started talking about impeachment the day Biden took office. It was clear that they wouldn't let it go even after they formed committees specifically to uncover impeachable offenses committed by Biden. Their own discovery committees found nothing. They're moving forward anyway because they can. Their constituents will still support it because their constituents are convinced that Biden is up to something. What that thing is exactly, they can never seem to tell you, but it's something. They're sure of it. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video, subscribe subscribe to the channel, and check out my podcast, Modern Context. Thanks.